finally back home to my office after, 2 months? From my perspective, that's like forever and ever and ever. I've been away from home. I haven't seen my kitties. And we got ourselves a neat little stand that sticks off of the desk here, and it's pretty awesome. All cleaned up, got my shit together, ready to rock and roll. Hola all, welcome back to Soul Mechanics. Now, this one is a particularly important video, kind of a special one. It's for the Imperative. We're rebuilding the Imperative right now, and well, jump starting the Imperative. It didn't really crash, but we've all been slacking off lately, and so now we're getting a new directive back in there, and we're putting things together. And to give an idea of what the plot is here, how we're dealing with things, what our objectives are, I'm going to speak to the catalyst events directly. Now, in your body, you have what in old Sanskrit, the elder traditions used to call chakras, which means wheels, or I forgot. Wheels, generally. It means wheels, and it's referring to, they were referring to the feeling of emotions in the body, where emotions well up in certain areas. And I'm not sure if they were aware or not. It seems like they must have been, but these chakras are actually like engines. These chakras are points in the body where there are nervous clusters that attach to major organ systems and attach to the glandular system. So these are actual physiological kind of electrical conductive electrical conductors. They're little engine points where energy wells up, electrical energy wells up, and and emotional energy wells up. This is going to be where chemical compounds get stuck in the body, and it's the reason why these block up is going to be psychological traumas. It's going to be your belief system. It's going to be how you're controlling your body via the brain, how your brain is programmed. It's going to be telling the body what to do, and effectively the results that come from the blockages here are going to be addictions. Ultimately, it's going to be habits, routines that you can't break, generally bad habits. You know, I mean, bad is a relative term, but it's this energy, I guess you could say the combination of the electrical energy with the emotional, the chemical energy is what they'd call prana, or it's the life source. It's what they call chi, jing. There are various terms for it. And these flow through what we call meridians, which are the meridians are the nervous system, essentially mapping of the nervous system. And this is unblocking these chakras and inducing a certain state through meditative practices that effectively kind of really induces what's similar to kind of like a really extreme panic attack. It breaks loose at the root chakra. There's going to be energy, electrical energy impulses, pent up chemical energies, just pent up energies in general in your body that's going to be welling up in there. And this is what causes conditions, nervous conditions such as anxiety disorders. It causes manic disorders, bipolar. All of these things are symptoms of this welling up, getting blocked up, and not flowing correctly. So clearing these up, this is how you activate and unlock the Kundalini impulse. And when you can get it all the way up, the thing is that when you unlock it, it's a dangerous. It can be somewhat dangerous if you do have these blockages in play and you're not aware of how to balance them out, and then there's dietary concerns that come into play. It's just managing your body generally, bodily maintenance and psychological maintenance that's going to factor into how this energy flows. And when it hits a blockage, if you unlock it, you activate it, and it hits a blockage, it's not going to stop. It's going to barrel right through, and it's going to swell up your nervous system. It's going to swell up your glands. It's going to break right through whatever's in its way, and this can cause serious damage. It caused a hell of a lot of serious damage to me. For 10 years, I was fucked. I was in and out of the hospital, major surgeries. I was in bad shape. And finally got that under control. Figured, ways to maintain it. You do have to eat a lot once it's unlocked. You have a lot of energy, and it's kind of like, it's seriously like you're in a constant panic state, but you have control over it. You're not afraid of it, and you can use that energy. And you can use that energy to do incredible fucking things. Anybody who has not used it, you wouldn't believe what you're actually capable of doing. But the thing is that the planet itself also has a chakra system. The whole of humanity as a species has a chakra system. We call these chakras catalyst events. There's going to be 7. Ultimately, there's 13 primary chakras in the system. In the body, there's 13. But, there's also going to be 13 in the world, but we haven't identified all of them yet. We've identified the major 7 chakras that are largely known, these catalyst events. The catalyst events themselves is meaning to refer to a sphere of influence that is, generally like it's going to have the resulting symptoms of this catalyst event existing are going to be communities that build around it. Communities of people with like interests, like associations, just relative communities and families for the most part. Now, the Kundalini of the planet, the pent-up energy of the planet, that's been unleashed several times before, but every time it hit blockages, caused catastrophes, and pretty much wiped out most of the race at the time. Most of the human race, most of the population just fucked us over. Ultimately, it's because of that first chakra, which we're going to get to. We're gonna address each chakra. I'm going to do a series for the Kundalini, for unlocking the Kundalini in your body, and this will give you the understanding of what's happening with the catalyst, the greater catalyst events, because it's a cosmological situation. They're the same thing. You're going to see, if you look at it, you're going to see the same patterns overlapping. It's going to be the same pattern in your body as the same pattern in the planet, same planet in the solar system, or same system in the solar system. It's going to be the same system at a cellular level, at a particulate level. It's down and up, and always the same thing. It's the same systems. We don't see that yet, and that's going to touch at the base of what we're doing here with the imperative. Really, we'll get to that in a moment. I wanted to show you guys some articles on it and read a little bit, but I forgot the other phone, so we'll get to that in another point. In any case, people talked about the event in 2012. That something was going to happen in 2012, and then, 2012 came and went, and nothing happened. Nobody cares, like, whatever, another stupid prophecy. But, in fact, something actually did happen in 2012, rather, something didn't happen. And it's both. Thing is that, in 2012, or right thereabouts, we were, could have been 2011, could have been 2013, but the roundabouts 2012, we were due to be hit by a major solar event that would have likely knocked out our grid, would have done major damage, would have set us back. It just fucking really rendered us totally defenseless and in bad shape. However, what happened in 2012, this solar event is the unlocking of the Kundalini, the activating of the planet's Kundalini, and ultimately the solar system's Kundalini impulse. And this is the event that people are talking about that's going to elevate us. Now, we spoke on the Remnants program about how people have found that you can project DNA via electrical impulses and cause for a shift in DNA. They projected salamander DNA into a frog's egg and transformed that frog embryo into a salamander. This is the same sort of thing that's happening here. That solar event caused a cascade energy, electrical energy, chemical energy, vitamin energy, just energy in general, explosion that's going to radiate through us and actually cause a shift in our DNA, cause a shift in us, cause a shift in our consciousness. There's going to be a shift. It's happening already. It's been happening for a while, but the thing is that energy's pent up again. The first thing we're going to run into is catastrophes. We're going to run into like fucking tsunamis and earthquakes and shit like that, because that's at the root. That's the root chakra. That's the first one we hit. That's the first catalyst event. So, if you think that shit's bad, this is a first step, man. But the thing is that we made it through it because of the first wave of the initiative that run largely by this dude Drunvalo Melchizedek. I mentioned him before. If you're not familiar with him, check into him. He did something that effectively, I'm not sure exactly what he did. I followed it for a little while. I know what he was kind of plotting to do, but I'm not, you're going to have to look into his works to see exactly what he did. But what he effectively did was he caused for us to avoid that solar event becoming a tragic occurrence, because what he did and what his people did caused for the earth to actually develop a stronger shielding that protected us from that. And so we didn't get hit by that so hard. It happened, and the energy's coming through, but we survived that initial hit, which would have devastated us. It would have been very unlikely that we could have recovered, even tried to recover at that point. But we made it because we had the electromagnetic shielding on the planet. The atmospheric shielding was strengthened to a great degree, and you can look into that. We know that. They're just they just started figuring out this past year or so, I think. But you can look into it and see it. Yes, there's been a shift. This happened because of the first wave of the initiative. We averted that tragedy, and now we're ready to move into the next stages, which is where we come in. The imperative, essentially, we know what the catalyst events are, and we have a plot of how to work with them. So that's our mission. We really need to get the word out there, get people on board, and ultimately what we need to do is level everybody out with the same understanding. Now, at the root, we have chakra that the right at the root and the sacral chakra, the first and second chakras, we have an enormous misunderstanding as to the form and function of them, and that misunderstanding has presented in society, where we have this major upheaval with the gender community, I guess you could say gender community, with the sexuality community in general, and our concept of sexuality and everything with the transgender movement and all that, and the LGBTQ community, which I don't believe in. LGBT, that covers everything. You don't need another one. But you guys already did. That's the problem with the language and the semantics and everything. That's resulting from another chakra, but that's the ultimate problem with that community at the moment. And then there's a secondary problem that's occurring, I've mentioned before, that's actually rising up from the pornographic community that we need to deal with regarding the transgender community. And that's the sexuality. But see, these two, the sacral and the root chakra, are often confused. And the root chakra is not actually one chakra, but three. It's what we call a triple burner. It's going to be the genitalia and the actual center, or the ovaries and the center of the vagina, and the ovaries, or the penis and the testicles. That's the triple burner. That's the three chakras. And then the sacral chakra deals more with dietary, eating, consumption. The root chakra is going to deal with survival, sexuality, and that's where we come in. We have to acquire a solid representative from the sexuality community, specifically a transgender representative, and we need to work with them, speak with them, get them on board. We just need to level out the understanding. That's all we have to do. Get people on page, which, we already are on page. Everybody knows everything. Everybody has the same ideas. Everybody has the same feelings. We just don't know that we do. Because, again, it's this Tower of Babel scenario where we're all saying the same thing in different ways and we're arguing with each other about it when we're actually in agreement. Everything is already leveled out. It's just a matter of realization. The sacral chakra is going to deal with the dietary issues and currency. So we're going to be dealing with the vegan community, dietary peoples. We need representatives from that, and then the currency and trade community, which I'm not sure how to approach that. Some of the things I don't know everything we need to know. I need you guys to work with me on this, work with each other. We're going to figure this out. But we know what we're looking for. The solar plexus is dealing with breath and air, and that's, again, I'm not sure how to approach that. I don't know what community that would really deal with, but you guys might. The heart chakra is dealing with familial relations and community. And now the heart chakra, because we're seeing everything inverted, remember, time is inverted. So the heart chakra is the core. Symmetrically or geometrically speaking, that's going to be the source. That's going to be where we're coming from. So that's the initial chakra, which is why we deal with building the community first. We're dealing with communities in general and getting people on board together like that. Getting representatives together. That's the primary issue with that, with the heart chakra, and getting people, feel each other generally, to be familial, to understand that we in fact are family. We need to be looking out for each other. The throat chakra deals with expression, so that's going to be A, the artistic communities, and B, the political communities. That's going to be the difficulty, our expression. Our politics, in fact, is how we express ourselves. Artwork, artistic endeavors have kind of gotten shunned, pushed in back. I mean, we have movies and shit, but it's still, the movies are political. The religion is political. Everything's political. Politics is going to be the baseline understanding for our expression in general. The third eye, that's the pineal gland. That's a literal eye in your brain. It's the third eye. It's the eye you use to imagine. It's the eye you use to see when you're dreaming. It's also the eye that you use to receive photonic impulses and input from remote like tactile imaging, remote viewing, and such. And that's the pineal gland. Again, that's another one I'm not absolutely certain on. I think maybe that's dealing with the people who work with that. That could be our community, in fact. That could be dealing with the spiritual community for the most part, but I'm not certain about that. The crown, though. The crown is the entirety of the brain, and that's the connection. That's dealing with connection in general. That's the bottom line. That's a base value of the crown chakra, is connection. It's our connection to the greater world, to the soul. It's the transceiver between who we think we are and what we really are. And that has gotten all clouded up with religion. It's essentially spirituality at the base, but then religion kind of infects it like a virus. That's the aspect that's attached to it that's really fucking it up. And that one has a backlash that hits everything. Religion affects every fucking catalyst event, directly and indirectly, and just to its detriment. Religion is holding every one of these chakras back, and it's blocking up every one of them, and then cascading from that, there's going to be repercussions from each one that it touches that affect the others, and we're going to get deep into each one of them specifically and talk about how they're affecting each other and how we can deal with it. We're going to have to do some research. We're going to have to get together and investigate to see what these missing ones are, and then look into seeing if we can identify the 13 in total, which 4 of the 13 are going to be the same thing technically, but we'll deal with that after I've got to get through the anatomy of identity, and I've got to get more through the Principal Dynamics series to catch us all up and get us on board with how this operates, and make sure we all understand exactly what we're talking about here, because again, that's the primary issue. Semantics, language. That's the throat chakra, the expression chakra, wherein we all have just differing concepts of the same understanding, and we need to realize that. That's why we're working on developing the simplest possible terminology to work with and trying to share that. That's why we're taking everything and then packing it into simple terms that everyone can understand. That's going to be one of the biggest fucking goals we have, because once we have that equipped, once we have a common terminology that functions appropriately, that everybody can get very simply, then we have the silver bullet. Then we have the weapon to use, and we have a secondary silver bullet in relation to the cooperation over competition paradigm, which is very tricky but very simple. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be fun. So we'll look into that in the further videos. In any case, that's about it for this one. That's what we need to do, guys. Every one of you who has, feel your interest and look for colors and such in your environment. If you study the chakras and you know what each color represents, there's going to be cues in your environment. There's going to be clusters of colors that are going to be guiding you. Just watch out for that. Watch out for cues in the environment that are going to speak to one of these, and then you'll have a lead as to where to go, as to what you're trying to work on. Keep that mindset. You look at the world, you're going to see the aspects that are attached to that value. You're going to see associations start to build, relationships forming in your perception. You're going to get an idea as to how, you're intuitively going to know how to proceed. But if right now, if you have a feeling for one of them, or if I give you a direction for one of them, work on that and just pay attention for synchronicities. The world will guide you. The world is our client. Earth itself has us on this job, so it's going to help you. It's always going to be backing you. It's always going to be providing you direction. So that's it for now. Kila Salai, Terve Uni Siari, Namaste.